Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
The words coronavirus and COVID-19 are leaving many Americans hiding in their houses, waiting for disaster to strike. Many are blaming the media for seeing fewer people in airports and toilet paper disappearing from shelves. One doctor is taking a different approach, though, saying prevent, don't panic. Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard explains.
Day by day, the coronavirus numbers seem to rise.
I think that it's just kind of blown out of proportion.
Items like toilet paper have been flying off shelves in the valley. Here's a picture of what shelves look like in Dilworth, Minnesota.
I don't know, I feel like every few years they bring one around and they just kind of make it seem like it's going to be this huge thing, and then it doesn't really turn out to be that much.
Many, like Hannah Steffens and an infectious disease specialist at the University of Toronto, are saying we have an opportunity to learn a great deal about health hygiene and limiting the spread of innumerable diseases in our society. His viral post on Facebook says he's worried about the elderly and those in frail health. He's scared of masks being stolen from hospitals and clinics that are needed for frontline healthcare providers who really need them.
I've seen that our mask demand has increased quite a bit, and the only reason for that is people are either taking them away unnecessarily or taking them home.
Dr. Nagpal with Stanford Health says wearing a mask in public when you have no symptoms of the virus is not helping your case.
We are in the middle of an outbreak. Yes, we will see some cases here, most likely, but we have had some time to prepare for this, and I think we have some data and some scientific evidence on how to deal with this.
Many are saying the new approach is facts, not fear, clean hands, and open hearts. In Fargo, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
Stanford Health recommends staying up to date with the CDC website as more information about the virus comes out. For a link on how to get there, visit our Valley News Live app. And the World Health Organization has now declared the coronavirus outbreak a pandemic. The director there says this is the first type of coronavirus to cause a pandemic. He says describing the ongoing situation as a pandemic does not change how they're assessing the threat or what they're doing, and it doesn't change what countries should do either.
WHO has been assessing this outbreak around the clock, and we're deeply concerned both by the alarming levels of spread and severity and by the alarming levels of inaction. We have therefore made the assessment that COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Officials say the hardest hit region of Italy is pushing for a shutdown of non-essential businesses and public transportation. On top of travel and social restrictions, the death toll in Italy has risen to 631. Schools in the region are starting to feel the impacts of coronavirus. The University of Minnesota announced they are suspending in-person instruction across all 5 of their campuses through April 1st. North Dakota State University announced they have canceled all university-funded and sponsored international travel due to coronavirus concerns. NDSU says they are still reviewing refund possibilities. The NCAA has also announced that during March Madness, schools must limit attendance due to coronavirus. It was nice to warm up again, but it didn't quite feel like we were at 40 degrees. Let's head over to the First Alert Storm Team Center and Justin for more on tonight's forecast. Justin?
And thank you, Andrea. Good evening, everybody. As temperatures once again well above average for this time of year, as most of us right now up and down the Red River Valley and into Lakes Country and even into northwestern Minnesota are into the mid to upper 30s, and looking into our western counties out toward Devil's Lake and Jamestown, closer to 50 degrees. We have that nice southerly wind, a little breezy at times, between 10 and 25 miles per hour, and some of us are actually seeing a few peaks of sun, especially into our northern county. Mostly cloudy skies in our southern counties and some rain showers starting to develop, especially in our far southern counties. That's going to be the story through this evening. A chance of some rain, possibly some light snow showers, otherwise mostly cloudy skies, and temperatures staying mild through the evening into the upper and then mid 30s. We've got a cool down, but are mainly dry to round out the week, and a chance of some snow on the way. We'll tell you when a little later on in the newscast.
All right, thanks, Justin. A 33-year-old woman is now being charged with second-degree attempted murder after police say she threw her son off a balcony in St. Paul. 33-year-old Itavia Lloyd admitted to dragging her son from his bed and throwing him off the balcony. Investigators say Lloyd told them she had been struggling with drinking and stress and may have pushed her son off the balcony, but wasn't in her right state of mind. Her 11-year-old son suffered serious injuries, including a broken leg, fractured jaw, and head injuries. If found guilty, Itavia Lloyd faces a possible 20-year prison sentence. A convicted North Dakota sex offender will spend the next 20 years behind bars after pleading guilty to sexually assaulting 2 teenage girls. 21-year-old Alexander Matson pleaded guilty to 1 felony count of gross sexual imposition and another count of sexual imposition after 2 girls, one 13 and the other 16 years old, told officers Matson had raped them in his car on separate occasions. Matson was convicted of similar charges in 2016 after he pleaded guilty to raping a different 13-year-old in Foster County. A massive recycling center fire resulting in more than $1 million in damages is now being ruled accidental. The recycling plant in Becker, Minnesota, started on fire in mid-February and burned for days. Investigators are now saying it started in a pile of vehicles and other metals. The fire cost about $1.5 million in damages. It also affected air quality in the region for days. A western Wisconsin man receives a hefty sentence for the deaths of 3 Girl Scouts and one of their mothers while driving high on a rural Chippewa County road in the fall of 2018. The judge handed down the sentence for Colton True after an emotional explanation.
Now, Mr. True, if I do my math right, that should be 54 years in. Most of that you'll sit. On the count 9, you have a right to some early release numbers that can reduce that by about 15%. But you'll be held in custody until you're in your 70s.
In earlier testimony, True had blamed the crash on the passenger in his pickup, who he says grabbed the wheel. The judge says he considered the vicious nature of the crime and True's lack of remorse in his sentencing. Movie mogul Harvey Weinstein has been sentenced to 23 years in prison. The sentencing was handed down today in a New York City courtroom. A jury convicted Weinstein last month of rape and sexual assault. Weinstein did not testify during the trial.
This is what justice looks like. 20 plus 3 years sentence handed down by Judge Burke this morning. After compelling arguments by the prosecution and after arguments by the defense. And most importantly, after heartfelt victim impact statements.
In all, more than 80 women have accused the disgraced Oscar-winning producer of sexual assault and harassment. He has repeatedly maintained his innocence, denying that he ever engaged in non-consensual sex with anyone. A big thank you going out from Governor Doug Burgum to everyone who has helped make sandbags so far for spring flood preparations in the valley, but also a plea for more volunteers. The governor and local officials were updating the public today at Sandbag Central, saying their goal to fill 400,000 sandbags can be fulfilled if everyone pulls together. Those sandbags will be used for Fargo and Cass County. Burgum points out there's been a lot of progress getting flood protection, but these all too familiar spring events remind us to keep fighting for permanent protection.
With the sophisticated mapping we've got now, if an individual comes in from Cass County or from the community and says, I think I need sandbagging, we can go by address, we can go by how many bags got deployed in previous floods, and we can be very precise about what community needs. That way.
The National Weather Service will issue its final spring flood outlook tomorrow. And a celebration of Women's History Month today in Fargo, with the event specifically honoring 5 women who are making a difference in the state. It's the annual Leading Ladies Luncheon hosted by the North Dakota Women's Business Center. Those 5 female leaders hail from all walks of life, sharing inspiring words, life lessons, and accomplishments with the audience. Once again this year, I had the pleasure of moderating the panel of honorees. After